Welcome back. You're watching World News and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has pardoned 16 people convicted of extremism as well as other crimes. This comes after Lukashenko freed opposition leader Siarhei Tsikhanouski and 13 others in June after talks with U.S. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg. According to the state-run news outlet Belta, those pardoned include 8 women and 8 men, several of whom have chronic diseases, are disabled, or have children under the age of 18. There is no information, however, if Polish-Belarusian journalist Andrzej Poczobut was among those released. As of today, there is over 1,100 political prisoners in Belarus, most of them charged with extremism, according to the human rights organization Viasna. The White House has confirmed that deliveries of air defense missiles to Ukraine have been suspended. According to Donald Trump's spokesperson, Karoline Leavitt, the decision was made to, quote, put American interests in the first place.
A White House deputy press secretary said in a statement that the decision was made following a Department of Defense review of U.S. military support to countries around the globe. According to the documents, it was motivated by concerns that U.S. military stockpiles are falling too low. Deputy Press Secretary Ann Kelly added that the strength of the U.S. remains unquestioned, referring to last month's strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. The announcement was also addressed by the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy, Elbridge Colby, who said that his department continues to provide Trump with options for aiding Ukraine, in line with his goal of bringing the war to an end. At the same time, the Pentagon is adopting its approach to achieving this objective, while ensuring the U.S. forces' readiness for administration defense priorities.
The main armored tank of Europe, or MARTE, project has officially been launched, marking a significant milestone for European defense cooperation and technological sovereignty. Piotr Szymański, a senior fellow at the Center for Eastern Studies, recently joined TVP World to speak about Poland's involvement in the project.
I think that Poland has been, over the recent years, focused on the cooperation in this armored tank domain, especially with our partners in the United States and South Korea. So Poland procures tanks from these 2 directions and has been focused on quick deliveries to our armed forces, because Poland has donated over 300 tanks to Ukraine. We have to replenish at the faster pace, and therefore we right now are not focusing on development of a new platform, which is time and money consuming. Rather than that, we want to ensure deliveries in the next years in order as well to maintain our support for Ukraine.
U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that Israel has agreed to the conditions of a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza. According to Trump's post on his social media platform, Qatar and Egypt will present the final proposal, and he urged Hamas to accept the deal.
My representatives had a long and productive meeting with the Israelis today on Gaza. Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize the 60-day ceasefire, during which time we will work with all parties to end the war. The Qataris and Egyptians, who have worked very hard to help bring peace, will deliver this final proposal. I hope, for the good of the Middle East, that Hamas takes this deal, because it will not get better. It will only get worse. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Poland will reintroduce temporary border controls with Germany and Lithuania starting July 7th, amid escalating tension over migration and nationalist patrols. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk says the move aims to curb both illegal border crossings and the rise of far-right citizen patrols obstructing border operations. According to data released by Poland's Ministry of Interior, since January of this year, Germany has readmitted 89 people to Poland under bilateral agreements and 225 under the EU's Dublin procedure. These numbers are down from 357 last year and over 560 in 2023. Tusk says Poland's patience is running out, accusing Berlin of making it harder to verify whether those returned actually belong in Poland. Polish President-elect Karol Nawrocki met with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte on Tuesday. Among the points of discussion between the two officials was the recent NATO summit in The Hague and challenges that await the alliance. According to a post by Nawrocki on X, the guarantee of security and understanding of mutual challenges must be the foundation of strong and responsible international relations. Nawrocki's advisor, Marcin Przydacz, said that the two officials spoke about the implementation of decisions made at the recent NATO summit in The Hague, as well as transatlantic relations. Additionally, Nawrocki and Rutte discussed threats arising on NATO's eastern flank, which was the focus of the Polish president-elect during the conversation. During the meeting, Nawrocki also reiterated his stance that currently there are no conditions for Ukraine to join the alliance or the European Union in the coming days or weeks. A representative of the Council of Europe has said she is deeply concerned about the escalating tensions in Serbia amid ongoing mass anti-government protests continue in the Balkan country. The rapporteur of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe monitoring Serbia has called on all parties to defuse the situation, refrain from violence and engage in constructive dialogue. The appeal follows Saturday's protest attended by around 140,000 people, which ended in violent clashes with the police. Authorities report 77 arrests and dozens of injuries. At least 10,000 people joined an opposition rally in front of Istanbul City Hall on Tuesday, marking the 100th day since the arrest of the city's mayor. Ekrem İmamoğlu, the main rival of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and mayor of Istanbul, was jailed in March in what critics say was a politically motivated graft probe. The rally came just hours after Turkish police rounded up over 120 people linked to City Hall in Izmir, a stronghold of the Turkish opposition. The arrests were part of a probe into alleged graft and followed similar ones executed in March. The crowd protesting in Istanbul chanted anti-government and pro-İmamoğlu slogans. The Turkish main opposition party linked the detention to arrest of İmamoğlu to a coup, while Erdogan's own party defended the actions, saying the courts are independent. The protests ended when several hundreds of demonstrators clashed with Istanbul police. To disperse the crowd, the riot police used tear gas, while officers in plain clothes detained demonstrators who did not leave the area after the scuffles. While space exploration may be tempting, it also involves significant health risks. During an interview with TVP World, the Polish MP and wife of Polish astronaut Sławosz Uznański-Wiśniewski, Aleksandra Uznańska-Wiśniewska, said that once her husband returns from the International Space Station, he will have to undergo medical examination in a specific clinic in Cologne, Germany. Here's more.
He's going to go straight into the clinic, to a particular specific clinic for astronauts in the EAC, so European Astronaut Center in Germany, in Cologne. There is a particular hub, that is going to collect all the data from his body, and then he's going to make sure that actually he's going to return safely to health. 2 weeks is not that long of a time in space, but for astronauts which stay longer, really, every sort of month in space is a very, very significant and exhaustion for your organism, losing of your bone mass, of your muscle mass, sometimes issues of eyesight, and obviously, returning at enormous speed, which is just distress to your body. However, I hope that he's going to return to health as soon as possible, because I think there's such potential of the mission, to positively contribute to the Polish society, science, technology, but also defense.
Polish astronaut Sławosz Uznański-Wiśniewski is conducting live lessons straight from the International Space Station for hundreds of Polish students. Uznański-Wiśniewski is taking part in the Ignis mission, which for a 5th day now has been conducting experiments on the Earth's orbit. Right now, we see experiments conducted by Sławosz Uznański-Wiśniewski at the International Space Station, which were designed by youth and selected in a competition for Best Cosmic Experiment. There will also be involved a Q&A session with the Polish astronaut. The cosmic lessons can be watched live on the Polish Space Agency's YouTube channel and TVP Info. The Ignis mission, in which Uznański-Wiśniewski is taking part, is nearing its halfway stage. The mission has achieved more than 1/3 of its initial goals and is going according to plan, according to Sergio Paumberi, the head of the AX4 mission. As you can see on your screen this very moment, we have Sławosz Uznański-Wiśniewski live from the International Space Station conducting experiments that I mentioned before that were part of the competition for the best ones to travel into space. 12,000 Poles, along with around 8,000 participants from the Polish diaspora, have registered for this year's Jubilee of Young People in Rome, set to take place from July 28th to August 3rd. This is according to estimates by World Youth Day officials.
The Jubilee of Young People in Rome is a part of the broader 2025 Jubilee celebration and is specifically aimed at young adults aged 18 to 35. The event will feature various activities, including visits to holy sites, catechism sessions, and a mass with Pope Leo XIV. According to the director of the World Youth Day National Organizing Office, the event is a key element of preparations for the World Youth Day in Seoul in 2027. He added that it'll be an opportunity to experience the universality of the Church, share faith, as well as to learn to build relationships with others.
A severe heat wave is sweeping across Europe, triggering widespread heat alerts in many countries across the continent, including Poland.
Much of Europe has been grappling with red alerts for days as temperatures soar past 40 degrees Celsius in several countries, including France, Spain, and the UK. In Poland, forecasts predict temperatures to hit over 35 degrees Celsius, prompting authorities to issue a red heat warning across most Polish provinces. Meteorologists are urging citizens to stay hydrated and seek shade during peak heat hours.
And so this concludes our news service for now. I'm Klaudia Czerwińska. Thank you so much for joining me here on World News, but please do stay tuned. We're back in just a moment, and we'll see you there.